Winnemem are among 1,000 California Indians that don't have recognition, meaning that our status is overlooked or not granted or invisible as a people for maintaining our traditions, of accessing our cultural sites, of protecting our spiritual and sacred sites. We're here, we've always been here. We continue to want to be here into the future. We continue to teach our kids how to go to the sacred places and how to sing the songs to the water. Any of the laws, like the American Indian Religious Freedoms Act, Indian Child Welfare Act, Indian Arts and Crafts, all of these acts pertain to the rights that Indian people have. Like, you can't sell something and say it's handcrafted by an Indian unless you're an Indian. That's what that law refers to. So right now, when I make something or our people make something, we can't sell that as a Native American made item or an authentic Indian made item because, we're not. That's what the law says. The one that hurts us the most is the American Indian Religious Freedoms Act. We were one of the first tribes to really utilize that act and have access on a more permanent basis of our cultural site that's in the National Forest. Whereas now, after the 80s, we're not eligible to have those kinds of things anymore. It's like we're still the same people, that's still the same sacred site, we're still doing the exact same thing there, but some terminology changed. And so now, the definition of Indian has excluded us. Raising a Shasta Dam will flood 7 more miles of our river, will drown and make inaccessible the sacred sites that we use now. And that in itself hinders our ability to carry on our way of life and teach what it means to be Winnemem to our kids. One of the sites is a puberty site, which is a rites of passage for young women. That place will be flooded and never come out.
In 2006, the Winnemem Wintu tribe revived the coming-of-age ceremony for girls entering into womanhood. The ceremony had been held for millennia on the banks of the McCloud River, but was interrupted by the building of Shasta Dam in 1945. The tribe has repeatedly asked the U.S. Forest Service to apply a mandatory closure of the river to protect the dignity of the ceremony. However, the agency will only institute a voluntary closure, leading to incidents of disrespect and abuse. After years of trying to get local officials to recognize the rights of the indigenous people of that river, the tribe decided to visit regional forester Randy Moore.
We are asking Randy Moore to close down the river for 4 days so we can have this ceremony in peace and dignity and help us continue our culture the best way that it can. It's been voluntary closure is the closest we've got, but it's still not good enough for us to conduct a ceremony without worry.
coming of age ceremony for young girls to come into their womanhood is ancient. We're calling down the two sisters from the mountain to provide guidance. We're asking for this medicine rock to give her all of those skills that she'll need in her lifetime. This ceremony is the spiritual weaving of a belief system that holds the people together. You know, without that belief system, you really don't have a tribe. And because of the situation that exists, no rights to hold our ceremony, no rights on the river anymore. We have to fight for it all the time. We have rights, federally recognized or not. We're the indigenous people of that river. We show that boat and that woman exposing herself because everybody can see how insulting that is. But for me, any boat coming up there that's not invited is insulting because they're breaking away a spiritual thing that's happening. It'd be like, you know, somebody walking right through a blessing or a christening. It's like, oh, excuse me, you know, before you sprinkle that water on that baby, I need to walk through here. I think the biggest challenge is trying to figure out the right maneuver to get recognized, to get acknowledged as indigenous peoples. Most of the tribes in California that have been actively seeking recognition through the process are finding that all of their hard work and all of their struggles is not paying off. And there never was really a way to achieve it. How do they expect that the historic tribes will continue to be tribes if they keep limiting and excluding us from those things that are necessary to carry on as a tribe? That, in my mind, is cultural genocide.